I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Friday. This is the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I am your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And back with me, struggling to survive after a devastating bout with the COVID because he's unvaxxed, should have been vaccinated, is Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. You survived.
I made it. Yes, I'm one of the 99.6% who survived, unfortunately. It was a rough go there for a couple of days. So we were talking about it before the show. I had like OG COVID back in January of 2020. And they tested me for strep, flu, RSV, and a couple other things. And after they tested me for everything, they were like, we don't know what it is. You just got some nasty bug. You got to let it run its course. So that was 5 straight days of just feeling like absolute fucking hell. This week, I felt like shit. Went to the doctor on Monday morning. They do like a multi-test now. So it's flu, COVID, RSV, and a couple other things that they test for all in one swab that they stick up your nose and scrape your brain with. And then also strep. So they did the strep swab and the multi everything swab, and they go, yep, you got COVID. Nothing we can do about it. You just got to let it run its course. It's like, wow, the technological advances of the last 5 years are incredible.
It really is. They didn't intubate, huh?
Yeah.
It's amazing just the amount of like sheer panic that went into COVID when it was happening. And like how many people were fucking killed just because doctors were fucking panicking and didn't know what to do, or they could just like left it alone. But yeah, thankfully, well, you're not a fucking fat tub of shit with 4 comorbidities. So that really, there's a reason we fat shame here on this channel.
Absolutely.
It's for your good, your own good.
I will say though, this is my 3rd time having it, and the first time was, like I said, January of 2020. It was pretty bad. And then the second time was like in the summer of 2022, and it was fine. I mowed the yard and went for a run every day, and like I didn't feel bad. I just had a runny nose. This time around, it was more akin to the first time around. It was pretty rough, but I think I got over it a little bit quicker too. Stephanie got it as well, and she started really feeling bad. I guess she started getting it a little bit on Tuesday, and she was really feeling bad Wednesday, and she's mostly better today. So like it ran pretty quick through her too. So it's not nearly as bad, but I did feel like shit for a couple days.
Yeah, the first time I got it was like it was probably like July, or no, probably September or something, 2020, I think. Or no, it was before then. It was probably in July. And yeah, I mean, it was about 3 days. I was pretty sick. Had a really bad sore throat and a bad fever.
One of the things that all the COVID cultists said was that we were like denied that it was real. It's like, no, we don't deny that it's real. We're just saying it's not as bad as you have said.
It's literally not. Yeah, it's not going to kill you for the most part. If you're young and healthy, You have nothing to worry about. Yeah, it sucked for 3 days. And then I got it like 2 more times, and it was just, it was milder each subsequent time I got it. But yeah, it was, 2-3 days of feeling sick, just kind of like any other time I was sick. And I don't know. It does just like to think back to the COVID days when everyone was like, oh my God, he has COVID, stay away from him. It's just like, all right. Yeah, he has a mild fever and a sore throat. Let's fucking stop the world. Let's stop the entire fucking world for that.
Speaking of being 500 pounds and 14 comorbidities, we can start the show off on a fun, light note.
Very still. I'm working right now. This... Ouch! Oh, I'm sorry. Did my pen get in the way of your ass? Do me a favor and lose 5 pounds immediately or get out of my building like now!
Oh, shit. I hadn't seen that clip in a while. That's a good one.
We're disheartened to look at your driver's unacceptable behavior. Please DM us at your earliest convenience for additional support. We'd like to address this as soon as possible. That's a statement from Lyft after a woman files a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Lyft after she was denied service because she couldn't fit in the car. Gosh, I wonder why the guy denied her service.
Yeah. Well, how is it if she can't fit in the car? That's not denying you service. Hey, I tried to serve you, but you're ridiculously fat, dude. Like, what is in her pants? Sorry for those of you that are just listening. You gotta watch the video for this. But she is just. It's like she like went into a fucking like a clothing store and just stuffed a bunch of stuff down her pants. But that's her actual body.
Yeah, the sad and crazy thing is that's just her. That's just
I'm sorry, I don't have a fucking a dump truck to throw you in the back of. Like, some guy shows up in like a fucking Prius, and he's got to like, she can't fit in the car. That's not denying you. What is he supposed to do? What can you like, okay, she's too fat to get in the car. I can't. What, are you gonna get on top of the car? No, the roof couldn't support her. There's nothing you can do. Oh God, these frivolous fucking the nerve.
Here's the video of her being denied service.
Look at that fupa, dude. That is crazy.
There's a little lead into this that's just straight up terrifying, but then we get the video.
Is there any?
Yeah, we get some audio here in just a second. So,
oh Jesus! Watch this.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What? For what? What you saying?
Yeah, I got no space. My car is small.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me. So I'm sorry.
What I'm gonna do about my money?
I'm gonna cancel you. You're not gonna be charged.
So you telling me I can't get in a lift because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you need to order a bigger car.
What makes you think I can't fit in a car?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What makes you think I can't fit in this car?
Because the car is small in the back.
My best friend has a Benz that's newer than this that I can fit in. That's the same size.
Dude, let her get in. That would be hilarious to watch.
So you really telling me I'm too big to get in your car, so I gotta order another lift?
Yeah. And to be more specific with you, I got very tired tires.
What I got to do with your tires?
And you have no space.
How you know I don't have no space?
Yeah, I got no space in the back.
How do you know I don't have no space?
Because I tried before.
Huh?
Because I've been in this situation.
So every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL.
No, I don't never have to order Uber XL. What's your name?
Abraham Carter.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, so maybe she could have fit in the car. I don't know. It would have been close. I'm sure you could squish her in somehow. But yeah, a lot of unnecessary wear and tear on your shocks and your struts, your tires. So technically she could have, well, she claims she could have fit in the car. So he did deny her the service.
So Lyft is going to do the bitch move thing and probably settle, because according to Lyft's like contracts and stuff, they are, so the drivers for Lyft are effectively private contractors who work through Lyft. Lyft as well, that where Lyft and Uber, where they get their jobs, and then they can choose to decline the job for any reason. It's pretty, I think it's pretty contractually tight that you can choose to deny a job for whatever reason you want. He denied the job. That's it. That's the end of it. Like, legally, I don't think she has a case. But like I said, Lyft will do the bitch move thing and settle with her instead of actually letting it go to court and have her lose, because that's the way these companies do it. And so now other people will be able to try to pull the same bullshit. They need to take it to court and fucking slap her fat ass down and be like, sorry, like, you can be denied service. That's how this works. Lose weight.
Right. You don't have a right to a lift. Like, it's his car. He's choosing to do the job or not. Like, he's not obligated to pick you up just because you ordered it. You can cancel for any fucking reason. And yeah, I wish they would take a principled stand on this. Like, obviously it's going to cost them a lot more than settling, but who knows in the long, like, you could just get imagine how many fat pieces of shit are going to try this now. Like, it's like when Starbucks had that loss. Was it Starbucks with a cup of coffee?
McDonald's
victim. Yeah, McDonald's. Yeah. So it's just like, yo, you got to slap this shit down, man. A multi-million-dollar lawsuit because you're too fat. I'm sorry. Hit the goddamn gym. It wouldn't kill her to walk wherever the fuck she was supposed to be going.
Well, the video of that fat chick on the airplane that talks about how terrible it is because it's so uncomfortable for her, and how she ends up with like bruises on her legs and stuff. Like, all right, bitch, I'm 6'5". Like, it's uncomfortable for me to fly too. I'm all legs. I end up with bruises on my knees as well if I don't get an aisle seat. But then if I am in an aisle seat, I'm getting bumped into the whole time because my legs hang out. Like, yeah, it's uncomfortable, except that I don't have a choice. I'm 6'5", all legs naturally. You, on the other hand, could lose 400 pounds and fit perfectly fine in your seat. You could probably lose 200 pounds and fit perfectly fine in your seat. Like, just because you made a poor life choice, or in this case, like many poor life choices, that's not the fault of the airline. That just like, I don't blame the airline that it hurts my knees to fly. That's not their fault. It's not my fault. But in the case of the fat bitch, like, it's 100% your fault. Lose fucking weight.
Yeah, dude, and it's just such a microcosm of where we are as a society now. And this shit should not be flying in Trump's America. This is the time to change course.
This is why we need to make America healthy again and get RFK Jr.
Yeah. Well, shit, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, that's a great segue. But did I send you? I don't think I sent you that video. I might have retweeted it though, or reposted it or whatever. Or it was like this guy edited all the like 5 minutes worth of Donald Trump signing executive orders. And he had, what was the one that he had, like a Rosie O'Donnell, like fat piece of shit fucking executive order or something. I'm trying to remember what he called it. Oh shit. God, it was hilarious. I'll retweet it again, maybe. It was absolutely hilarious though. The guy did a great job with it. I don't know, some comedian maybe. Rosie O'Donnell Fat Pig Act was one of them. Yeah, we need one of those for to just slap down these fat, like, dude, the other thing we could do is just start like a big and tall airline, like they do, like they have the big and tall store. Let's just start a fucking plane for just fat pieces of shit. I think we were joking on this on, it might have been on here or on Twitter, or it was either that or the Friday night happy hours, or like somebody was joking that the plane, like if everybody was sitting on one side of the plane, it would like fucking flip over or something. Oh shit!
Have to go through the plane and be like, all right, you two got to switch seats. Like we gotta balance the weight out a little bit.
Yeah, like you're on a fucking sailboat or something. Well, couldn't Yeah, and then, well, dude, did you see that fucking helicopter crash into that plane? Was that yesterday or the day before? That was fucking crazy.
And it was like the plane had a bunch of figure skaters on it. Like, at least it's not an Olympic year, so we've got a whole year to get new figure skaters before the Olympics next year. I'm sure there were.
I don't think it was the ones that were going to compete next year. I think it was the next generation. So they were a little younger, which is pretty sad. But yeah, initially I was like, oh, dude, there must be like somebody on the Clinton fucking hit list was on that fucking plane. was my first thought. I mean, what are the odds of a fucking helicopter crashing into a plane as it's?
I haven't looked too far into it, but there are rumors that one of the pilots of the helicopter was a tranny that had objectively very low number of like flight time hours for a helicopter pilot, like objectively low. I haven't looked too much into it, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Just saying, it's interesting how what the one country had the first female captain of a battleship, and then it like
sank
or some shit, and now we got a tranny.
Can't see a fucking plane. Like, how do you miss a plane? I'm sorry, dude. It's like
Black Hawk and hits a plane, and
yeah, that's just. I mean that basically it almost has to be a DEI issue. Like, I'm sorry, dude. If that's not because of DEI, I don't want to know that can actually happen with like normal, like qualified people, where you just miss. You see that plane? Yeah, I got boom. Like, it's a fucking plane, dude. Oh shit. I lost. Oh, dude, yeah, losing your taste and smell. And
Stephanie's had the loss of taste this week. I didn't get that, but
that would really fucking freak me out. Like, if it never came back, that would really suck.
Yeah, there were people that talked about and even I experienced it a little bit. Like, some things tasted weird for a while, but eventually it all like came back. But there were some things that tasted different afterwards. Not necessarily bad, just different. Like, bacon had a different taste to it for a while than some other stuff. But it wasn't like it didn't taste bad. It just tasted different, and I liked it. And then it went away, and now bacon tastes like bacon again, and I still like it. So it's all good.
Bacon's good. Yeah,
bacon's good no matter what it tastes like. Speaking of RFK, gosh, where should we even start with? I mean, this is one of the more insane questions, I guess, and then we'll kind of go from there. He gets asked about school shootings.
So do you believe, as you've said, that antidepressants cause school shootings? This should be a simple question.
I don't think anybody can answer that question, and I didn't answer that question. I said it should
your
be
answer
studied.
is?
I said it should be studied along with other potential culprits, like
So they may cause
social media. But I don't know. I would never because there's no science on that.
Well,
Senator.
there is, Senator. I mean, excuse me. There is, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you for the promotion.
This happens in every single one of these clips. They ask a question, he attempts to answer, and then they start yelling at him before he gets a chance to answer the question.
It's unbelievable. Like, they just continue to mischaracterize his position on everything. There was like a longer clip. We're not going to play the whole thing. It was like a 4-minute clip of her talking about SSRIs and how she took them. So she's a lunatic, and admittedly, and she's like, well, I had a good experience with them, and like, I'm happy now because I was on these things, and blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, so you think SSRIs are causing school, like, you think they cause school shootings? You said that. He's like, no, I didn't say that. I said we should look into it. The same thing that he fucking says with you're against vaccines. He's like, no, I just think we need good fucking science. We need to actually make sure these vaccines are necessary and effective and relatively safe, because they're not always going to be 100% safe for 100% of the people. Like, even if it's safe for most people, there are going to be people that have adverse reactions. He said this like a million fucking times on every fucking podcast, on national TV, I'm sure on debate stages. And it's just like, they just keep calling him you're anti-vax. Oh, you think SSRIs they probably do. It's probably if I had to guess, it's one of the better culprits. Like one of the like, if I had to put money on what's causing all these school shootings, SSRIs is probably where I'd put most of my fucking money. You know,
Well, and like he says we need to study this stuff. We need better science on it to understand it. I saw somebody that posted something that's like, here's your science for it, that shows like when these vaccines were introduced and some of these like diseases that then go from being relatively prevalent to not at all. It's like, okay, cool. Except that, what about the side effects? What about heart disease? What about autism? What about ADHD? What about all of this other stuff that didn't exist before that? Right. And then now that all exists. Like, what about that side of it? Why don't, like, okay. So we replaced one disease for 3 others. Like, is that, I mean, that's what we're calling.
And it's like it's the most reasonable position. Like, hey, we should look into this. We should study this more. Hey, we should try to figure out what's causing these. Like, why aren't you interested in any of this? And that chick, she's like, oh, there are like, no, it is proven. The science is, she basically says that clip cuts off. I couldn't find like the next like 5 or 6 seconds because it was pretty funny. She's like, there's science on this. And he's like, no, there's not. Like, you can't say that. Like, you should not be saying that because this has not been studied. It really hasn't. And she was just making outrageous claims when he just takes like very plausible, mild positions on things where he's just like, yeah, no, I'm not against the SSRIs. Like maybe they're good. Maybe they're not. Let's look into it. I'm not against vaccines. Some of them are good. Some of them are maybe causing autism, maybe causing all these other things. How about we study it? And they just it's unbelievable that, like, do they not realize the fucking world that we live in now where we can play like the clips of him? I don't know why they don't do this at these hearings. Like, no, here's my position. I clarified this like 50 times and just roll the tape.
And then you've got Elizabeth Warren, who keeps talking about the amount of money that RFK makes from, or is going to make from, suing the big pharma. Like, she's really, really worried about this. She's really worried about RFK making money off of big pharma.
Commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member.
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit?
You're not going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh. I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this.
I don't think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
Let's keep.
Yeah, like none of the big pharma companies, none of the big drug companies want to give RFK money. He's been a thorn in their side for some years. What
could he possibly do for a pharma company? Like,
he
would have to go ahead.
So what Elizabeth Warren was getting at and continues to get at in a number of other clips. I've got 2 more clips of her getting on him about him getting money for suing the pharmaceutical companies. So he worked as a consultant for a law firm where he would compile a bunch of stuff about different pharmaceutical products that these companies were pushing. He would then basically set up the law firm with a suit that, hey, this is the shit that they've been doing. Go sue the fuck out of them. They would go sue the fuck out of them, and then he would, for his consultant fee, he gets 10% of the damages that are collected by the lawsuit. So he made a couple $1 million doing that by going after pharmaceutical companies for shady, bad practice bullshit. So that's where her getting on about him making money.
And then I think in the next clip she wants him to promise he's not gonna basically go after him, right?
Right.
you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
No, look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same.
There's the problem.
Interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids.
Those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, that is not your choice. That is.
Yeah. She said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule.
Everything that she said was objectively false, but nobody will ever call her to the carpet on. And then of course, as soon as it's all over with, then she walks out and she gets picked up by, I don't know, one of the news networks that is going to ask her more of this so she can tell more of the same bullshit questions and also say the quiet part out loud.
His answers are he intends to continue to make money off his anti-vax position. Look, he says he won't go to work for drug companies because the American people have a right to know that the decisions made while he is Secretary of HHS are only for the good of the American people. And yet, he wants to keep a piece of the action on every one of these anti-vax lawsuits. And what that means potentially is, as Secretary of HHS, he can make those lawsuits a whole lot more profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccine.
Are you worried that he's in a position to serve his own interests?
That is what
honest, dude.
he has said. He will protect his right to make money off the position of Secretary of HHS.
That's also not what he said. He didn't say that. The only thing that he said was there are currently outstanding cases that the law firm that he worked for is pursuing, and that he has a contractual right to take the 10% for his consultant's fee for those. He has also said that he will resign from that position and will not work for them in any capacity while he's in the position of director of HHS. But she's twisting that to mean that he's going to just keep, that he's going to use that position to cash in on lawsuits, when the only thing that he has the potential to cash in on going forward would be the already outstanding lawsuits that have not been closed that he provided to the company in his consultant position. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. But don't confuse her with the facts. I don't know. I couldn't get past how Indian she looked in that clip. Fucking so Indian. Those high cheekbones and everything. Oh my God. Yeah. That must have been real brutal to have to fucking sit through her screeching. And just, I don't know, man. It's just so exhausting. I mean, there were so many confirmation hearings this week. We're going to try to get to most of them, but it's just like every single time, man, with everybody that he has to fucking talk to, just complete bullshit on their part, complete mischaracterization. And then he tries to correct the record and they just kind of scream over him.
Speaking of, I mean, she went off.
Oh man, yeah. Pocahontas. It's just, it should be fucking criminal. I forget who was. It might have been in Kennedy's hearing, where they accused him of lying about something. And I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. A fucking politician Like, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what it is. It's like, you guys literally lie for a living. Your entire existence is a lie, and you're gonna fucking say he's lying about something. It's just, it's so frustrating to watch. I don't know. How do you think his what do you think his chances are? Because I think he can only lose like 3 Republicans. Is that right?
There are two Republicans that were against him, and I think that's it. So I think there's a pretty good. I think it might come down to J.D. Vance as the tiebreaker at worst case scenario. But I'm pretty sure he's going to get in. Imagine that of the 2 Republicans that oppose him, one of them is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell ranks number 5 in the Senate on senators who take large campaign donations from big pharma and the health industry.
Okay.
Guess who's number 2 on that list?
I don't know. It's not Bernie Sanders, is it?
Oh no. Liz Warren is number 2. Bernie,
is it really Pocahontas?
Bernie's number 1.
Bernie's number 1. Okay.
Bernie's number 1.
Yeah, we heard from Bernie. Well, let's play some Bernie clips because he got called out on it.
Make America healthy. Will you assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on earth?
And that looks like a Hitler.
Guarantee health care
Heil Hitler.
for every single American.
Look at him.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies; it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh no!
And protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives. Not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate
Bernie,
tax.
you were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered last question.
That makes it all right.
Okay, what's even
200 million?
So I looked this up. In 2016, Bernie was the 2nd largest recipient of pharmaceutical dollars in Congress. He received somewhere to the tune of about $500,000 in 2016. Prior to the 2020 election, he vowed that he would not take any more money from these pharmaceutical companies. And then in 2020, he took $1.5 million. He went $1 million over what he received in 2016 and was far and away the large. He doubled up Liz Warren for the most money taken from big pharma. Like this is the principled like socialist that he just cares about people's health.
Charlotte. Yeah, and that's what. Will you give everybody guaranteed free health care like they do in Denmark? And it's like, first of all, dude, RFK Jr can't fucking do that. As he's just gonna stroke a pen and be like, okay, free healthcare for everybody. Like, what are you talking about? It's just the whole thing is fucking nonsense. Bernie Sanders is such a fucking charlatan. It drives me crazy. Drives me absolutely crazy. Play the onesie clip.
Oh yeah, I was like, speaking of nonsense, this is amazing.
This actually happened.
These onesies say unvaxxed, unafraid, and no vax, no problem for those who can't read them.
Now you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccine.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will
vaccines.
not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The correct answer would have been, just because parents choose not to vaccinate their kids does not make me anti-vax. Just because the organization sells onesies that state that the parents chose not to vaccinate their kids does not make me anti-vax. Like there had to.
It really is. Look how angry he is about onesie. It's not like the baby can fucking read it. It has no idea what's going. It's not going to influence other children because they see their no vax, no problem onesie. And he's so upset. Like, it's perfectly okay for Bernie Sanders to make money, to take in millions from pharmaceutical companies who are poisoning kids left and right with all kinds of drugs. Forget about vaccine, but like fucking Adderall and all kinds of shit, SSRIs as well. He writes a book about socialism. He can make millions doing it. It's okay for him to make money, but for anybody else to make money, that's a problem. How dare you make money selling these onesies? And by the way, whose ideas are more detrimental to society? The ones that Bernie Sanders has been fucking peddling for decades and puts them in a book, these ideas of democratic socialism, which is just fucking socialism with a little bit of perfume sprayed on top of it, that's responsible for the deaths of tens of millions of people worldwide, famine, absolute devastation, or a onesie that says not vax, no vax, no problem. What's doing more harm to society? Let's say that those onesies take the world by storm and everybody stops vaccinating their kids for Hep C and whatever else, like whatever else is on these fucking retarded schedules that they give you as soon as you're born, STDs and all kinds of shit that you don't need. What's the worst that could happen? They get an STD? Okay. Jesus Christ, dude. It's unbelievable.
Hepatitis B for a newborn is the most insane thing ever. Like,
yeah, it's like, why are we doing this? Yeah, maybe we should revisit that schedule. But man, is he upset? You're selling these for $26, by the way. Does seem like a lot for a onesie.
How much did Bernie sell his book for? I wonder.
Oh God, yeah, I'm surprised he made profits. He profited off of like other people's labor. I can't believe. First of all, he should have given the book away if he had any fucking principles whatsoever. But just watch him fold like a fucking lawn chair every time one of his principles is put to the test. Doesn't pay his fucking workers a living wage that he's been fighting for. Doesn't offer he could offer his workers fucking free healthcare. Never did that. Sells his book to make millions. Buys 3 fucking houses. He's so full of shit, dude. And yet he could, no problem, just getting up there and waving his fucking hand around. Which, by the way, I don't know if you might have stepped away for a second. He did a bunch of Heil Hitler signs in there. Nobody's pointing that out. He was going like this, fucking crazy. So I don't know. He's also on top of everything. He's dog whistling Nazis. He's a self-loathing Jew. Yeah, ridiculous. Like that's an actual fucking like this is your government. Do you support these onesies? Like, is this fucking real life? What are we doing here? Imagine not getting confirmed because you sold a onesie.
Bernie's books go for anywhere from $11 to $18, depending on hardback or paperback. You can get them for as cheap as $6 on Kindle.
All right. What does it cost to make the book? Because that's exactly what you should sell it for.
Yeah.
Not one penny more, right? Otherwise, you're stealing.
Correct.
You're stealing from other people. Yeah. Fucking Bernie Sanders.
I wonder where his book is published. Like if it's made in like China or something. And
oh, that'd be hilarious. Yeah.
The cheapest. the cheapest press you can get?
I'm sure it is. I absolutely guaranteed. I mean, this is the guy again, itemizes his fucking deductions, maximizes those when he pays his fucking taxes, of course. But he'll tell you, every second he gets that you need to pay more. You got to pay more in taxes. You got to pay your fair share. Billionaires do. Millionaires used to until he made his first million, and then that went out the window. Guys, it's unbelievable just how fucking pathetic that guy is. And I can't believe people remember he had a huge fucking following. I mean, before, in 2016, before he completely fucking bent over and got pegged by Hillary Clinton, he had like a massive cult following. And it's just like, dude, how could you follow somebody who's so goddamn phony? Just completely full of shit every single time. I can't think of one instance where his principles were actually put to the test, where he fucking lived, like he walked the walk. Talk is very fucking cheap. Very cheap. And every time he was his so-called principles were tested, he fucking bent over, folded like a fucking cheap suit, which he probably has a lot of those too.
Stephanie was, whenever we first got together, she was a big Bernie fan. And then when we were dating and stuff, we didn't talk about politics. Like we just happened to start dating during the whole, Trump moment when he was coming on the scene and stuff. And I didn't talk about politics. I just would watch and listen to stuff and kind of let things, and I would read things and listen to things while we were together that she could hear and see. And the more she heard and saw of Bernie, she was like, this dude's a fucking fraud. Like he
hasn't followed through on one fucking thing that he talks about ever. I mean, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy to say like all this sing-songy horse shit. Oh yeah. Everybody should be guaranteed this and guaranteed that. And that let's provide the, he's never stroking a check for it. As long as you pay for it, yeah. I could say that shit all day. But when it actually comes, when the rubber fucking meets the road and it's time to actually live up to your principles, and every single time you fucking bow out, it's pathetic, dude. It's what a pathetic fucking existence. I can't believe he can look himself in the mirror, but these are all just fucking psychopaths in Washington, D.C. So I guess it shouldn't be that surprising. What's surprising is that it takes people so long to catch on to it. I mean, come on, dude. This guy's just fucking saying shit. Saying all this, sunshine and rainbow sing-songy horse shit that a fucking 5-year-old would believe. It's like, I would understand if a toddler thought these were good ideas. But after, imagine, how fucking old is he now? Like 80? Imagine being that old and so retarded. It's unbelievable, man. That much like life experience, and you still have everything backwards. It's yeah, I don't know. What are you gonna do?
I mean, didn't he get kicked out of a hippie commune for refusing to work?
For being too lazy?
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that was the last time he actually came close to having a job.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. We had some other crazy hearings this week. We had Kash Patel, which I
didn't see much of that. Yeah.
Kash was just good. Like he answered all of their questions very thoroughly, very straightforward. There wasn't any like big gotcha moments that I've like. RFK handled them well, and they acted like insane people. Kash, they didn't really act like insane people a whole lot from what I saw, and he handled himself incredibly well. Tulsi Gabbard got to throw out some fire bombs.
Dude, she started her. I sent you her like full opening statement, but just play the beginning of that because she came out swinging, dude. This was epic, and it really is just, it's wild that we have these people being at least selected. Well, I'm not sure. Tulsi might not get confirmed. Like it looks pretty bad for her just because she's got, like, you can't even tell the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans questioning her. because it's just all fucking deep state fucking monsters. But to have these people like possibly in charge of these organizations that despise them, it really is just only something that Donald Trump could fucking bring to the table. But yeah, go ahead and play the beginning of this.
To my husband, Abraham, my family, friends, fellow veterans, Medal of Honor recipients, and patriots, thank you for your love and support. I'm honored and grateful to President Trump for his trust and confidence in nominating me to serve our country as the Director of National Intelligence at a time when trust in the intelligence community, unfortunately, is at an all-time low. Chuck Schumer admitted a few years ago, quote, "You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you." For too long, faulty, inadequate, or weaponized intelligence have led to costly failures and the undermining of our national security and God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. The most obvious example of one of these failures is our invasion of Iraq based upon a total fabrication or complete failure of intelligence. This disastrous decision led to the deaths of tens of thousands of American soldiers, millions of people in the Middle East, mass migration, destabilization, and undermining of the security and stability of our European allies, the rise of ISIS, strengthening of Al-Qaeda and other Islamist jihadist groups, and strengthening Iran. Here are just a few other examples. The American people elected Donald Trump as their president not once, but twice. And yet the FBI and intelligence agencies were politicized by his opponents to undermine his presidency and falsely portray him as a puppet of Putin. Title I of FISA was used illegally to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, using a Clinton campaign-funded false dossier as their so-called evidence. Biden campaign advisor Tony Blinken was the impetus for the 51 former senior intelligence officials' letter dismissing Hunter Biden's laptop as disinformation specifically to help Biden win the election.
And she just keeps going. Like this is why the whole apparatus hates her and is standing against her, because she just like she came out and took every last one of them down. Like not
just right out of the gate, dude. Boom. You lied us into the fucking war in Iraq. Boom. You fucking fucked it. This bullshit opposition research, fucking Hillary Clinton funded to get a fucking warrant. Oh,
well, and here's more of that. Here's more of her calling out former administrations for the things that they've done in the Middle East.
My concern has to do with the tendency to repeat Russian and Syrian, and even in some cases, I think we'll get into in the closed session, Iranian information, and to discount what comes from our intelligence community.
Senator, every American deserves to know that people in our own government were providing support to our sworn enemy, Al-Qaeda. That should not be acceptable by anyone.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I didn't watch the whole hearing for her, but did they even attempt to address all the fucking stuff that she brought up in her? Of course not. All they did was
they don't address it. They don't deny it. Nothing. They just like, she says it, they just roll right past it and go right back to calling her.
We're gonna pretend like none of that. Like those were some really damning fucking. They're not even accusations. They're just objectively truths, and they're just like, we're just not gonna talk about that. Instead, we're just gonna ask if you think Edward Snowden is a traitor.
Yeah, like,
do you still think Edward Snowden is brave?
Mr. Vice Chairman, Edward Snowden broke the law. I do not agree with or support with all of the information and intelligence that he released, nor the way in which he did it. There would have been opportunities for him to come to you on this committee or seek out the IG to release that information. The fact is, he also, even as he broke the law, released information that exposed egregious, illegal, and unconstitutional programs that are happening within our government that led to serious reforms that Congress undertook.
Chairman, we got 5 minutes. So I take your answer, and these are your quotes. Brave, please join my bipartisan legislation calling for charges to be dropped against him. Do you disagree that legislation was not appropriate? Do you believe he is brave or not?
Yeah, one,
Back those words?
once again, Senator, Edward Snowden broke the law. He
Ms. Gabbard,
also
I'm not
released
talking- we
information
agree that Edward Snowden
that
broke the
exposed
law.
the United
I'm
States
asking you a
government's
question whether
illegal
your
programs.
legislation and your words are still your beliefs. Yes or no, please?
I'm making myself very clear.
Yeah. I mean, she can't fucking, if she wants any fucking chance of getting confirmed, she can't be like, yeah, no, he's a fucking hero. She has to just fucking say, yeah, he broke the law. He could have gone about it in a different way. By the way, yeah, I was listening to an interview with Glenn Greenwald, who worked with Snowden and fucking published all the, not all of it. He was saying that, like, dude, we only released like very select items, and Snowden had nothing to do with the decision. Snowden told him, like, hey, you know, like, you like be very judicious with what you release. I don't want to, you know, put a lot of, you know, certain things in danger or whatever. And so they went through Greenwald and I forget the other
Well,
reporter's name.
Glenn moved to Brazil and is very like secretive and careful about his limited trips that he makes back to the U.S. Like because they're still after him for and like she said, like what he did was, and that's always the big thing. Oh, well, he broke the law. I'm like, okay, you motherfuckers are breaking the law. Did you see what he released? The shit that y'all have been doing? Like,
why aren't you upset about that?
Right?
How could you not be upset that they were fucking collecting every fucking phone call that a person made was like recorded without a warrant, with no nothing, dude. They were just bulk data collections. Phone calls were being fucking monitored. If anybody made a fucking phone call on like U.S. soil, they were collecting that shit and listening to it. Like it's like she said, egregious, absolutely unconstitutional. And these people, these fucking pussy politicians, swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and they're more upset that this guy exposed all the fucking illegal shit that they were doing than the actual illegal shit that was being done to the American people. And yet they try to claim that they're for the American people. It's wild, man. And I can't believe that fucking, God, I hope Tulsi gets fucking confirmed. But I think that probably going to be the toughest one, in my opinion, because you can't lose that many. I think you can only lose 3 Republicans, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you have all these fucking, these neocons that are just all gung-ho about this surveillance state. And it's, yeah, I could see her easily losing a few, like that guy. I don't know who that guy was, but there were a couple other Republicans that were grilling her pretty hard. Same shit. Will you say that Edward Snowden's a traitor? And she's like, no, he exposed the fact that we were actually arming and supporting Al-Qaeda. It's like, who's the traitor here?
Here's the big reason that they'll not confirm her.
Before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet.
That dude in the back nodding his head, like, loving it. Absolutely loving it. Yeah, dude. I mean, it takes some fucking balls to get up there and say those kinds of things, man. Especially throwing out Hillary Clinton's name. Like, I'd be head on a fucking swivel, man. You got to stay fucking frosty. Because, yeah, Hillary Clinton's not going to like that very much.
She is, and Tulsi has gone after Hillary consistently for years. So it's like that's why they don't like Tulsi because she goes after the establishment types.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a great point. She's a puppet for like 5 different people. It's like, okay. All right. Yeah. You fucking idiots. You can't even get like good talking points together. It's so pathetic, man. But yeah, so that's a big one, man. That's a big, this whole week, dude. Yeah. These are like the hardest ones to get through. So RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, and then Kash Patel. Is there anybody else? Any other controversial ones coming up? I think that was
no. Doug Burgum, the former governor of North Dakota, he was confirmed as the Secretary of the Interior, which is
he ran for president, right? He was in the debates. I remember
he was the one that I really liked in the debates. He was the one that was actually like good. He's also there's a lot of personal stuff about Burgum that his background, his business background and stuff. Like he's an excellent pick for Secretary of the Interior, and will work with the rest of the Trump administration on getting drilling back going, getting our oil production stuff back up. So Burgum was a good one. I can't think of anybody else that is on the deck right now. Kash Patel, RFK, and Tulsi are the ones that are going to be voted on next. So we'll wait and see. And I'm sure we'll get some great reporting from a lot of folks on that. Unfortunately, not Jim Acosta, though.
It's never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
So he just quit on air. It really is something to watch somebody on CNN talk about not giving in to the lies. So he's basically saying, don't watch CNN.
So CNN is firing a bunch of folks and redoing the CEO has been kind of pushing them in a new direction since the $1
billion loss on the website or whatever, or the stream service.
That was crazy. Shoot,
was it 100 million?
I'm trying to remember the name of the parent company that now owns. It's the same people that own HBO Max and all of that, but they also own CNN, and I guess they bought all of like the Turner networks as well. Anyway, they are firing like 100 and something people and re-gearing the way they're doing all of their content stuff. And Acosta was offered a show. He was offered a position to do a show in a different time spot. Like they're giving somebody else his time spot. They're moving people around and stuff. And he just straight up told him like, no, like they offered him a different time spot. And he said, no, he didn't want that. And so the last rumors that were being like, that were floated around were they were in contract negotiations with him to figure out what his position was going to be going forward. And apparently he just decided like, fuck this and resigned on air. So no more Jim Acosta.
Yeah. But make sure you don't give in to those lies and take a stand. Yeah. That guy lied his ass off on air for, I don't know how long. Really, like they've learned absolutely nothing. None of these people have fucking learned anything.
Speaking of learned absolutely nothing, the craziest fucking thing about CNN and the way they're trying to like revamp their content going forward and stuff is they're trying to provide more of a streaming platform type of experience and tailor their content more to people who are wanting to view on like streaming apps and stuff like that. Is like, did we forget just like a year or two ago when they launched CNN Plus to like multi-million dollars, and then
it was like a crazy, was it 500 million? It was like some insane amount.
I think it was 400 and something. And
it was like, Jesus Christ, dude, you had the government in charge of this?
And then it didn't even last a month. Like,
yeah, it just goes to show you that they literally are just they're the propaganda wing of the federal government, and they spend money just like the rest of the fucking government does. Unbelievable. Anyway, I think that's about it for today, right? Did we get through everything?
Yeah, that covers it all.
Kind of coming up on time here. So when do we find out if these people get confirmed? Do we know?
It'll probably, I think confirmations will probably go through possibly today. Some of them will be early next week, and we'll know something by early to mid next week, probably.
So you think, what'll get 2 out of 3? 2 out of those 3 will get confirmed?
Yeah, I would. There's a chance for Tulsi, but not a real good one, I don't imagine. But yeah, I think Kash is a definite. RFK is probably a really strong possibility.
Yeah. Dude, I hope anybody that, but we don't know who. We don't know the votes, right? They're like secretive. Or will we know?
We'll probably know.
Okay. Because, yeah, I don't know, dude. Anybody that doesn't fucking confirm Tulsi Gabbard should be fucking primaried. Like,
Scott Pressler, who led the charge for Pennsylvania, getting Pennsylvania turned for Trump, he's already said anybody that doesn't vote for RFK, he will personally go and lead the primaries for them. So,
yeah, I hope there's a lot of those movements going, because it would just be so delicious to get these people into those positions. It's the biggest fuck you that you could possibly do to the establishment. And I've never seen anything like this, where you have people in charge of these organizations that, like I said, completely despise them and like would probably dismantle them if they got the chance. It really is something amazing that a moment that only fucking Donald Trump could fucking bring about, which is why one of the reasons why I'm excited that he won in a landslide, and he has a mandate, so they should fucking confirm everybody. But yeah, I think there's way too many neocons that are don't want that fucking and military industrial complex money to dry up. So we'll see. Fingers crossed on that. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today. Do it for the week. No happy hour today. Last Friday was a good time. You missed it. Played some games. Went pretty late too. I think we went to like, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or midnight. I think I ducked out at like midnight. But they were still going. As you heard. But yeah, a lot of fun. The game night was a good time, man. Had some great, some good laughs on there, and some lively debates about Ross Ulbright. So yeah, it was a good time.
For anybody that Jim offended, he said he's sorry.
I don't think anybody was really offended. I thought it was great. It was a perspective that you don't get to hear a lot. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And I was fine, dude. We're not a bunch of fucking thin-skinned pussies over here. Like you can have your positions challenged, and we'll still all be friends. So yeah, good times. If you want to get in on that, become a supporting listener of the show. I will link to the Substack where you can do that in the description. And until Tuesday, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.